Hello, everybody. Let me get behind. It's always perilous because there's a wire going from the mic because the wire goes to it. Waist height, you got to step over it. A bit of delay, but we are live. We're trying something new with the audio here. I have my Bluetooth speaker right behind the computer. I have it hooked up to the TV itself. So my TV has a headphone jack, which I think is very funny. TV has a headphone jack. So I plugged it in there, put it on the box behind the computer, just so hopefully the game can have a little bit better audio. This won't be an issue when I actually have a full-on capture card and a device that can actually handle this, but this is how we're doing it right now. Let's get things started. We got a big game today. If you remember 2 weeks ago, I can actually turn on the TV itself. I have a remote. I'll turn that down for a second. Because if you remember last week's stream, you would know, not last week, but the week before, if you remember that stream, you would remember that we planned a doubleheader. We got the first game off without a hitch, but the second game was lost due to the computer shutting down halfway through recording because I didn't remember to plug it in. It's plugged in now. If you remember, that game was Oregon at Stanford. And this week we have a big matchup at Stanford. This is USC Stanford who are going to play this week. Let's get things started with the rosters so we can give Stanford their makeup game. The elite quarterback, the main man for USC is quarterback Ryan Benson, a redshirt sophomore from Berkeley, California. At halfback is Bobby Singletary, a senior from East Haven, Connecticut. He's a true standout star for this team with his performances this year. Zach Johnson, the halfback from Salinas, California. As well, also look out for Patrick Mitchell, true redshirt sophomore from Santa Maria, California. The fullback is Ken Benson, redshirt sophomore from Gardena, California. At wide receiver, this is the big name you got to watch out for. All-American junior from Laverne, California, Brandon Williams. Still just on the fringes of the Heisman race. We announced the Heisman finalists after week 11, so stay tuned on that for 2K Universe Weekly. This show we do every Sunday through this season. Keep an eye out for that. Johnny Carter is also on the receiving corps from Danville, California. He's a junior. Matt Poole, redshirt sophomore from San Francisco. And Marcus Thomas, a sophomore from Winter Haven, Florida. The tight end from Rialto is Matthew Vaughn, another All-American for the Trojans. Left tackle, Daniel Quinn, a junior from Mansfield, Ohio. Left guard is Chris Avery, a sophomore from San Diego, California. Justin Thompson, a redshirt sophomore from Somerton, Arizona, is your center. Marcus Seward, a redshirt senior from Fairbanks, Alaska, traveled all the way from up north to play for the Trojans here at right guard. And at right tackle, another All-American, 91 overall from LA, the hometown kid, Jack King. On the defensive side of the ball, Philip Owens, a junior from Diamond Bar, California, is your left end. On right end, from North Fort Myers, Florida, a true sophomore, Rob Taylor. Defensive tackle, an 89 overall All-American from Mountain View, California, Brandon Mueller. Also look out for Ben Hughes, a redshirt sophomore from Fullerton, as well as John Smith, a true freshman from Dundalk, Maryland. At left outside linebacker, redshirt senior from Apache Junction, Arizona, Robbie Sims. At middle linebacker, a junior from Fort Knox, Kentucky, Raymond Riley. At right outside linebacker, Alex Gore, a true senior from Torrance, California. In the secondary, led by redshirt senior from Paradise, Nevada, in the Las Vegas area, Ralph Dukes. joined by Kyle Harris, a sophomore from Redondo Beach, California. Kyle, come on. This game's not making pronunciation easy. I'm going to call him Kyle Schwend. Kyle Schwend, a redshirt junior from San Rafael, California. Jeremy Harris, a redshirt freshman from Monterey Park, California, wraps up the secondary core. Free safety Taylor Green, a redshirt junior from Inglewood, California, also in the LA area. At strong safety from Dana Point, California, redshirt junior Jeremiah Young. That wraps up your defense. On special teams, the kicker is Ralph Walker, a junior from Dana Point, California. And at punter is Adam Waltz, a redshirt sophomore from Vivian, Louisiana. Now we head to the home team, the Stanford Cardinal. USC coming into this matchup ranked number 12. Stanford is the number 6 team in the country. This has a lot of implications on the playoff rate, or on the conference championship race, pardon me. Marvin Walker, the starting quarterback, Heisman frontrunner, a redshirt sophomore from Franconia, Virginia. He's the second biggest name in the Pac-10 for this run. The first, of course, being Terrence Noel out of Oregon. At halfback, Roosevelt McKenzie, a senior from Bell Gardens, California. He's made a case for himself as well. He was a finalist last season, but he lost out to the former Northern Illinois running back, now running for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Warren Hodson. At fullback, Mark Anthony, a redshirt senior from Gunnison, Colorado, living La Vida Loca. At fullback, wide receiver, Tyler Arnold, a junior from Waco, Texas, is the leader, followed by sophomore All-American last season from Comac, New York, Bill Mullins. Let me get back to wideouts. Kenny Tyson, a redshirt sophomore from Chico, California, and Earl Bean from Salinas, California, another true sophomore. The tight end is James Byers, a redshirt freshman from Mililani Town, Hawaii. Onto the O-line, Kenny Cole, redshirt freshman from Goodyear, Arizona. Followed up by left guard, All-American Ron Smith, a redshirt junior from Carrollton, Georgia. At center, Mark Curry, redshirt senior from Cliffside Park, New Jersey. At right guard, a redshirt senior from Petaluma, California, Troy Poole. He'll definitely be high on draft boards when the season comes to a close. At right tackle, it's Anthony Boyd, a redshirt junior from Robinson, Texas. Let's move on to the defensive side of the ball. Marcelo McFarland, an 88 overall from Tucker, Georgia, a redshirt junior, is your left end. Followed at right by Carl Petway, redshirt senior from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. On the interior defensive line, junior redshirt variety from Independence, Iowa, John Dixon, followed by John Green, a redshirt freshman from Graham, Texas. At left outside linebacker, Chris Pollard, a junior from Country Club Estates, Georgia. Then you have middle linebacker Jeremy Laurie, All-American redshirt senior from El Monte, California. The right outside linebacker is Jordan Vincent, a redshirt senior from Wickenburg, Arizona. At cornerback, we got a lot of faces. Jeremy Tillman, redshirt senior from Claremont, California. Chris White, a sophomore from Petersburg, Virginia. William Keys, a redshirt sophomore from Fairview Shores, Florida. Drew Beck, a redshirt sophomore from North Druid Hills, Georgia. Derek Fine, a true receiver from Borger, Texas. Free safety Adam Anderson, a redshirt junior from Tampa, Florida. Mike Rowe, a junior from Huntington Park, California. Also watch out for backup Jerome Carter, a sophomore from Coolidge, Arizona. He was the hero in the game against Oregon. He got the game-sealing tip pick. That game was an all-time classic. You can check out the saved replays on the channel as well. The kicker is Obadiah Allen, a redshirt junior from McAllen, Texas. And the punter is Josh King, a junior from Hillsborough, North Carolina. Don't worry, Danny. I do see your messages. I'll check them in a second. That wraps up the rosters. We will now We'll now get to the coaches because I keep forgetting to do this. Start with the head honchos for USC. The guy leading the way is Randy Butler, who has done an incredible job in such a short amount of time, building this program up from the fringes of mediocrity in Pac-10 contention in only a few years, and bringing them back to a potential national power once again. Head coordinator is Chad Penn, and at D coordinator it's John Alexander. As for Stanford, this is Chad Dorsey. He's been here since 2013. He won the Cardinal and Natty in that time. He won it last season over Baylor, and they're looking poised to repeat as Pac-10 champions once again. Our O coordinator is Scott Franz, and at D coordinator is Sam Carey. So now let's get into the game. I'm going to put the mic back on the desk. As I do this, I'll check Danny's message. Several news from 2KU. Yes, we do. We have a lot of upsets. If Danny, you want to fill us in on it. The biggest upset is the top 5 team going down. That's Northern Illinois, falling in a close duel to Central Michigan Chippewas. With that win, that all but puts Central Michigan firmly in the lead, but they still have a very tough test at the end of the year. They still play Eastern Michigan. And that game will now decide the MAC West. Let's go to USC. USC, of course, as well. USC and Stanford, of course, not a lot of choices in uniform. So we'll just go their classic set. USC favored on offense. Stanford favored on defense. A pretty much even match. And, of course, we got to play at night. The Sun Belt Championship was set today. A big win for, I believe, Coastal Carolina over FAU. As well as Georgia State getting upset means that game is locked. North Texas will most likely be playing the Chanticleers after that big win. 25-24 was a very close game. And the Chants remain firmly in control. Meanwhile, elsewhere, TCU having a scare in a close game against Utah. UCF nearly in cruise control thanks to a big win. Thanks to a win earlier this week, as well as a loss by USF to Dave Show and UAB to Louisville. That sets up the war on I-4 to decide the division at the end of the year. We'll start the game momentarily. The Stanford Cardinal. We're going to adjust the screen here.
We're here at Stanford Stadium, a.k.a. The Farm in Palo Alto, California. And now we bring you the coin toss. It's presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Oh. Wrong side.
Both teams have sent their special teams out of the field, and we're ready
Had to
for the
save the
opening
mic
kickoff.
there as we're underway.
He sends this one deep. This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback. The Trojans and the coaching staff are just happy to have a guy like this in the program. Their offense really clicks.
Brandon Williams to start here for USC as they just taken in for a touchback.
Football, other times they're going to try to air it out. When you have one guy that gets so much attention,
There's the handoff to the back that'll lose 3 yards.
Offensive attack, and they did a good job as an offensive staff of putting together a good plan. I'm sure we're going to see it again today.
It's 2nd and 13. Ball on their own 22.
Coastal won their division their first year in conference. Here's a throw in the middle, incomplete. Pollard with the deflection.
Read on that play. He didn't have too much time to react to that pass.
Ryan Benson now one pass, one incompletion in this game. Benson will have time to throw. He's going to throw this one deep. Bombing, and is caught to the 35-yard line. Brandon Williams. The offensive star for the Trojans. Proving why he's the one on the Heisman ballot. Completely mussing the defender. Temple also gets to claim the Big East South. They'll be playing at MetLife against the winner of UConn UMass to end the season. There's a throw on the screenplay. He's got blockers. He'll be just short of the first. Bobby Singletary gets the 9-yard reception.
You know what? After a play like that, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they went to the air again.
Or almost does, according to Danny. Keep feeding some more updates and scores in there. I'll read them as we get them in. There's the hand up to Singletary. Just enough for the first. Trojan cheerleaders sporting the all-white. It's still possible in the Big East South for a team like West Virginia or Villanova to win, but is very much unlikely. I also want to shout out in real life, Kansas bowl eligible for the first time since 2008. They already claimed bowl eligibility here, but there's a sack. Ryan Benson brought down John Dixon with the TFL and the sack. Just a swarm of bodies around that Pac-12 logo on the 25. There was just nowhere to go. And he does a flip on the way down.
It's 2nd down now, 14 to go. Ball on the 26.
Benson throwing. There's a short throw. It'll only be 6 yards for Matthew Vaughn. 3rd and 8.
This is the 8th play of this drive.
Play number 8, 3rd and 8. Looking. Heaving this one. That would be the end zone. Touchdown. Marcus Thomas, USC on the board first. That one was close, but he did get it in. Let's take a look again. Thomas blew past his defender. Wide open. Did he get in bounds? Yes, he did. Got the toes in. And it'll be 7-0 Trojans. They're trying to claim their first win at Stanford Stadium since 2008. In that time, Stanford has 2 national championships in 2010 and 2021.
Now the offense gets ready to take their first crack at it.
There's the handoff to Roosevelt McKenzie. It'll only get a yard. Stanford's offense struggled early against Oregon,
2nd down and 9 to go.
but they slipped. But they were able to escape with a very hard-fought win in that game. This is another stuff. Speaking of the Ducks, they get stunned at home for the first time, losing in conference for the first time in years, losing in conference play to a team that's not Stanford. This year they lost to this game they lost to Washington. Also, Arizona State, who is in the running, lost to the Beavers of Oregon State, who claim bowl eligibility. And there's a 3-and-out for Stanford. Lights out defense for the Trojans, trying to lock them. A win for USC will lock them in to the conference championship game. The same for Stanford here. And a win would also virtually lock the Trojans out.
Williams takes it to 28, looking for the corner, and he makes it out to about the 41-yard line.
They would need Oregon to lose again.
They sure did, and I was really impressed with the execution by the quarterback. It's tough to be able
The Ducks are poised to go 9-3 this season. And this is not the last big test that the Trojans have on their schedule. They end with Notre Dame, as is tradition. A Notre Dame team who also had a stunning upset today, but at the hands of Michigan State. Look at that. Throw over the middle. Oh, and what a hit on Johnny Carter. Benson now 5 for 7 so far. Ooh, the big hammer laid down by number 11. We also had earlier Michigan taking back the jug. Once again, claiming the jug over Minnesota. There's a run to the 40. Oh, no, and there's an injury.
It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 40.
Southern Utah got their first win against Colorado State as well. They still are likely to move back to FCS next season. But a valiant effort nonetheless to get an FBS win. Zach Johnson gets 6 yards on the screenplay. Oh, and he's going to be short of the first. Zach Johnson got 3 yards. We're still waiting on the injury report for Bobby Singletary, who's a big star on this USC offense. Option play. And that won't go anywhere. 4th and 3, and they're going to kick a field goal. In Stanford territory, they will. This one from 50 yards out. We've seen longer. But kickers in this game are basically automatic, so I expect him to make this one. Here's the kick on the way, and it's good. 2-score game here in Stanford, California. A close win in the SEC as well. Tennessee just barely, not enough to take down the top 10 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. That sets up a big game next week. LSU taking on Georgia Tech. 4 weeks with the torn pack. That's the rest of the season. Oregon lost Burnett earlier in the season. You may remember the game against Boise State. I also pointed you to Wisconsin taking on Penn State. That game went to 8 overtimes and saw the Badgers getting it done over the Penn State Nittany Lions. Plenty of time to throw. Here's the throw to the sideline. Oh, what a catch. Kenny Tyson for 23 yards. Marvin Walker on the throw. That gets them inside their own 45. Handoff. Oh, and he breaks some tackles. They'll get 5 yards. Avoids the player falling into him. Now, it would have been a loss if he hit him. But he's able to get 5 yards. McKenzie, one of the most exciting running backs in the league. You just watch him go. And look at this. First down. He'll just power through anything.
It's a nice job by the quarterback to pitch the ball. They got him a first down.
What's very interesting is how will this chaotic week affect the top 25 as well as the conference championship races? The Notre Dame loss. Is the Notre Dame loss enough for the Irish to slip out of the lead? And who takes their place? If that happens, here's Walker on the Stanford S. He'll throw that one at the sideline. What a catch. Bill Mullins. That'll end the first quarter. 10-0 after one. USC. Can they pull off the upset?
Back to the action now here in the second quarter. They come out in a goal line set.
Stanford, USC, the only one-loss teams in the conference remaining. As Jamar Holt will get 6 yards.
They're about 4 yards away here on second down.
Stanford had their one loss earlier in the year on an upset. And USC lost in conference. I think I saw a USC player go down. Notre Dame does still have the lead, according to Danny, because they have an extra game. And they still have tiebreakers over Michigan.
From the 17-yard line.
Remember, Michigan's a two-loss team. They lost to both Notre Dame earlier as well as Illinois. And they stuffed. A loss of 3 for McKenzie. Brandon Mueller with the TFL.
This is the 11th play of this drive.
Pressure, he'll throw on a screen. Oh, he's got blockers. Not enough for the first. It'll be 4th and 3 for McKenzie. And they're going to try a field goal. Michigan and Minnesota are second in the Big Ten Legends. Here's the kick, and it's good.
Stanford is ready to kick it away.
And the kick's away. Taken from the end zone. I'll get a 17-yard. I'll get to 17-yard line, 18-yard return.
With one quarter down, I really haven't seen too much separation between these two squads.
It's a 7-point game right now. 10-3 USC. They'll be pressured. He'll throw on the screen. He's got room, but he'll lose a yard. Zach Johnson with the catch. He'll lose a yard, get back to what, the 15, 16-yard line.
From their own 16-yard line. Second down.
Benson steps back. He's going to heave this one over the middle. Wide open. He's got the man. Brandon Williams. And once again, BW comes up big, blowing the lid open on this game. The rules are simple in this game. As you've heard, win and you're in the conference championship game.
It's second down now. They're just a few feet away from that first down marker.
You lose and things get complicated. Handoff, first down for Zach Johnson. As you saw earlier, Bobby Singletary, the lead running back for USC, out 4 weeks with an injury. He will not be back for the conference title game if they're going to it. Here's a keeper for Benson. And that's the first down.
About the 13. And that's their third first down of the drive.
The defense needs to figure out a way to stop them, or else they're going to have no problem putting points on the board.
6-4. USC has the lead on first downs. Remember, Danny V picked Stanford in this game. Oh, he's got room. Just short of the first. 2nd and 2. Jeremy Lowry with his 7th tackle of the game. And they're at goal line formation. Handoff. He's got room. Touchdown, Patrick Mitchell. That'll make it a 14-point game with the PAT. And it'll be 17-3 in front of the Cardinal faithful. USC up big. Completely stifling the Stanford offense so far in this game.
It was a pretty one-sided first quarter, but I wouldn't be surprised if things changed in a big way before halftime.
2:53 to go in the game. Here's the handoff to McKenzie. Stuffed. Jeremiah Young with the tackle.
From their own 28-yard line. 2nd down.
Walker will look. He throws wide open, first down at the 40. Tyler Arnold, the main man for the Cardinal, gets the first. Walker's 5 for 5, but they haven't passed it much this game. As there's another handoff, that's not getting anywhere. Loss of 3. Philip Owens gets the TFL.
It's 2nd down now, 13 to go. Ball on the 38-yard line.
Thanks to the loss by Oregon and Arizona State, whoever loses this game is not out of the conference championship race. They just have to hope the cards line up in their favor. USC still has UCLA and Notre Dame on their schedule. Stanford ends the year against Cal. Oh, here's a throw. Wide open. First down, Bill Mullins, 29-yarder. That was a crucial 3rd down, and Stanford was able to convert. As you can see, he had to go left, right, and then right again. Just on the border of field goal range. But we've seen these kickers go. We've seen these kickers kick harder. As Danny reminds us, Stanford is 2nd in the Pac-10 for offense behind Oregon. USC is 5th as he'll throw this one away. Stanford is 5th in defense. USC is 6th. Throwing this one on the sideline. Caught. He's got room. Oh, what a tack. What a shed. Marcus Munoz. Completely flatlining that defender. Plenty of time. Pressure's coming. He's sacked. Down at the 35, a loss of 8. They call it a 32. Weird choice. Less than a minute in the half. Pressure. He's sacked again. And a timeout, Stanford, their second of the half. 54 seconds to go. The defensive pressure by USC. Some of the best I've seen since the Georgia-Florida game last week. Can he get it off? He won't. He's sacked again. It'll be 4th and 31. Stanford gets the ball at the start of the second half. But you can't start slow against the Trojans. And they're going to have to punt it. What seemed like a surefire field goal at the least. Now they're going to have to punt it away. They'll run the clock down. Once again, as a reminder, this is a critical game for the Cardinal and the Trojans. A win here basically guarantees your spot in the Pac-10 championship. The punt's away. It'll be dropped in the end zone for a touchback, and there will most likely only be one more play before the half.
I'm just amazed with his ability to swarm to the football on almost every single play.
There's the head coach.
You can always find him hovering around the football.
He's got to get his teammates to help him out a little bit more. Bring them back into this.
The Stanford defense has not been performing as well as you'd hope. I see him running it up the gut just to end the half. They'll run it up the right side, and he's got a bit of room, but that'll run the clock down. Zach Johnson will get 8 yards at the end of the first half here in this Pac-10 duel. USC up 17-3 on the road in Stanford.
We've played 30 minutes. Glad to have you with us on the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented.
While we're in halftime, Danny, can we get the can we get some like calculation or something to see what a team would need to do to make the conference championship game? Of course, for Stanford USC, the easiest solution is win and you're in. But there are teams lurking now. You got to watch out for Oregon and Arizona State have been looking for a while, but now with some big upset wins, you got to watch out for on the fringe teams like Washington and Oregon State. Stanford, of course, needs to win out. They have not lost in conference this year, and they want to make sure that stays.
All right, Reese and David, thanks, guys. Second half action, just about ready to start here. And he got all of this one. Great kick. And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback. There's got to be some sense of urgency to this offense right now. They don't have the luxury of wasting drives if they want to get
hard
back.
To realize it, but we are already in the home stretch of this season. As here's the handoff to McKenzie. That'll get nothing.
So it's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 25-yard
USC needs to win out or for Oregon to lose one more game. Here's a throw to the sideline. Caught, but I only get 3 yards. Bill Mullins on the reception. Here's 3rd and 7. Running over the middle. That's a first down. Kenny Tyson with the 11-yard reception.
From their own 39-yard line. First down. They line up in the jumbo set.
USC would lead Oregon State and Washington by tiebreakers.
And he makes it out to about the 41-yard line.
I would think all of those other teams, Oregon, Arizona State, Washington State, and Oregon State, have a chance, however small, of making it. Here's a deep bomb! Incomplete. He was double covered.
And here's another third down.
Marvin Walker has 100 yards passing so far. Stanford is 2 for 5 on third down. Handoff. Throwing this one wide open, first down to Mark Anthony.
And that's what we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely nice pass play here. The quarterback shows some guts here, throwing this one into coverage, but good accuracy, and again, great timing on the throw.
Play action. Here's a throw. Intercepted. Kyle Harris with the pick.
Great interception by the quarterback.
Well, that's big time. He made a great read on
Over the shoulder pick. Didn't even turn around.
From their own 28-yard line. It's first down.
Here's a throw by Benson.
He's got room to work. He's taken
Just
down
stopped
at the 37.
right in front of the first down. Johnny Carter with the reception.
That brings up second and one.
USC dominating an offense this season. Or at least this game.
Forward to about the 40.
Washington needs to win out and for USC to lose twice. The easiest games, of course, being tonight and Notre Dame.
First down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the 40-yard line.
I would think Oregon State needs to be Oregon, definitely. They need to win out.
Fakes to the back.
Oh, he's got plenty of time to waltz in there. Throws it deep. What a catch! No, he dropped it. Oregon State needs to win out and needs USC to lose twice, and they need Washington to lose once. Benson throwing this one to the sideline. There's a flag. An illegal touching penalty on the Trojans. It'll be 3rd and 15 from USC's 35.
They can just keep their concentration, avoid situations like that.
The penalty pushes it back even more. It makes it 3rd down and 15.
Benson, absolutely plenty of time. Throwing this one over the middle. Intercepted again, this time by Stanford. To the 49. They traded picks. That's the number 29. Anderson with the pick.
From their own 48-yard line. First down.
And the offense comes back on the field. They still haven't gotten in the end zone today, and they're not going to do it on that. For Oregon, they need to win out. USC needs to lose twice, and they need Washington to lose. So the Civil War in Oregon has become more meaningful than we've seen in years. Of course, back in the year 2000, it decided basically Oregon State's whole season. The 2000 Oregon State Beavers would win the national championship as huge underdogs over Ohio State that season. USC, a team they played earlier in the year, had to settle for a Rose Bowl where they would get upset themselves by Minnesota. There's the handoff. Just short of the first, 2nd and 1.
Short yardage situation here. Second down.
So looking for what it would take for a team like. What happens with Arizona State? Are they still in it? He'll post Stanford's remaining games. Here's a throw to the sideline. Lags a bit, but Mark Clemens gets the first down. Only back 2 scores, 2:10 left with the third. Stanford very likely can win out. They have UCLA, Washington State, and Cal left on the schedule. There's a handoff.
Gets to about the 24-yard line.
2nd and 7.
That'll make it 2nd and 7. It's 2nd and 7. Ball on the 24. Here we go.
Walker with pressure. McKenzie shuts a tackle. He'll be just short of the first, 3rd and 3.
The 9th play of the drive.
USC has Cal, UCLA, and at Notre Dame left on the schedule. Considerably a little more tough. There's McKenzie. He's going to be stuffed again.
Down right around the 22-yard line.
4th and 5, and this is another dilemma. And this here will be a dilemma. They'll kick the field goal. They made one from 28 earlier.
For 3 points.
Arizona State needs to win out and have USC lose out.
It's up, and it's through the uprights.
I would think that's everyone that's actually eligible for the conference championship, but let me know otherwise. Actually, write all that.
Here comes the offense, and you've got to wonder if that last interception's weighing on the quarterback's mind at all.
Actually, write some of this stuff down for tomorrow's 2K Weekly. That'll actually make pretty good stuff. There's a throw, and there's a flag. Most I would think on the defense. No, it's again on USC. And it'll be a 2nd and 15.
Be careful to avoid these. Penalties are a great way to stall out a drive.
The penalty makes it 2nd and 15.
Stuffed.
And he makes it out to
It'll be a 3-yard gain for Johnson.
maybe 3 yards on that run.
3rd and 12. USC is very good on 3rd down. They're 3 for 5. Helps having Brandon Williams on your offense. On the screen, he'll be brought down for a loss. 4th and 14. That's the stop that the Cardinal needed. The clock will tick in the 3rd quarter. Stanford would need a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal to get back in this game, to tie the game at least. There'll be 5 seconds in the 3rd. They'll probably just run one more play.
Sense of urgency to this offense right now. They don't have the luxury of wasting drives if they want to get back in the game.
Cardinal motion. Handoff. That'll go nowhere. That'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. 17-6 after 3.
Into the 4th quarter now, and we're back to the action.
Option keeper for the quarterback. He's got room. He's got a lot of room. Just around the 20-yard line.
From the 21-yard line, 1st down.
This is a crucial possession. Stanford has not been lucky in the red zone. Handoff to McKenzie. That'll be stuffed after a gain of 2. Handoff again. That's Jamar Holt this time. He got about 4. It'll be 3rd and 4.
About 4 yards away here on 3rd down.
Hand off to McKenzie. Not enough. 5 minutes to go. Now what do you do? They're going to go for it. 1 yard to gain. Ball game on the line with this. They got the first down. Jamar Holt with another 5-yarder. First and goal. This, as I mentioned, this drive is critical. Don't have time to waste. Over the middle, touchdown, Stanford. Tyler Arnold. He was open in the middle. And he nabs the Cardinal. A 6-point play, and they're going to try for 2. They got to get it if they want to get within a field goal to tie this game. Throwing this one, and they got it. Arnold once again up the middle. It's now a 3-point game. Now it's your defense's turn to pick up the slack. They'll start at the 25 or the 20 with a touchback. It is the 25.
Take as much time off the clock as possible.
They're going to go 5 wide. Throwing this one on a screen that we pushed out of bounds after 3 yards. After 3 yards gained. I don't know why you throw a screen there. 2nd and 7.
USC is up by 3.
Now I expect them to run out some clock. And they will, and he's stuffed in the backfield for a loss. J.P. Schultz with the TFL. First time we've called his name all day. 3rd and 6. Or 3rd and 8, they're 3 for 6 on 3rd down, pardon me. The crowd's roaring. Benson stepping back on a screen. There's a first down and more, and he hurdles. He'll step out of bounds after a 15-yard gain. 4 minutes to go, a second under, actually. The clock will run.
From their own 43-yard line. It's first down.
Benson throws this one. He's got a man.
He's at the 40. And down he goes.
He'll be brought down at the 13. Matt Poole. First down, Trojans.
It's first down and 10 now after picking up some great yardage through the air.
Here's the handoff.
And he's tackled.
That'll get about 2 yards. Second and 8. USC trying to put this game just out of reach. 3:14 to go. Stanford with all 3 timeouts. Clock's ticking. Benson keeper. And it'll be dropped for a loss of 1. J.P. Schultz with a sack. The shoestring tackle.
So we're looking at another third down here.
USC 4 for 7 on 3rd down.
Just under 3 to go in regulation.
They've thrived under pressure today. Can they do it again? The crowd is loud. They'll have about 2 minutes remaining on the clock when the play is all said and done. Benson throwing this one in the end zone. He got the first down, but he's short of the touchdown. Timeout Stanford. 2:05 to go. I see them just punching it up the middle to seal this game in their favor. Stopped. Timeout Stanford. Benson. Gonna keep it. Touchdown, USC. Is that the dagger?
That's a huge touchdown on the ground, Herbie. That might do it.
1:58 to go. USC cutting through Stanford's defense like butter. And they might have punched themselves a ticket to the conference championship game.
Walker has the ball set, and he looks ready to kick this one deep. Excellent
The
kick.
kick is deep. Lamini in the end zone for a touchback.
In the end zone, down for a touchback. They're ready to start another drive, hoping to duplicate the results of the last
1:58 to go.
ended in a touchdown.
Walker rolling right.
He's on the run.
Throwing this one short. Caught. But it'll only be a yard gain. The clock will stop.
26-yard line. Second down. Just under
In
2
shotgun.
in the game.
Pressure coming. He'll leave this one. The outside sideline. Incomplete. Almost intercepted by Ralph Dukes. Stanford 4 for 9. They're still under 50% on third down. Throwing over the middle. There's a first down. They got to hurry. They only have one timeout. Tick, 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 tick. 1:41 to go. You can't take too much time. Pressure. Look out. Sacked. Kyle Schwend with a sack. His 5th tackle of the game. And they'll spike it.
And now they're faced with another 3rd and long as they try to convert and move those chains again.
Walker. There's the throw. It's not enough for the first. It'll be 4th and 11. 6 yards to gain, and they got to go for it. Just over a minute remaining. Ball at their own 40. Pressure coming. He'll heave this one as he's hit. Incomplete.
From the defense, they come up with the stop of the day, and that'll ice this football game.
When the first down
He threw it as he's hit. It's incomplete.
got to step up and make a play on 4th down.
The pressure by the defense seals this game for the USC Trojans.
So much of the passing game is about the timing between the quarterback and his wide receivers. Right now with this offense, they are in sync.
That's the last timeout for the Stanford Cardinal. They can just knee out the clock.
From the 35-yard line. Second down. Under a minute left in the game. Tackled after decent pickup.
And even without star running back Bobby Singletary, the Trojans end their losing skid in Palo Alto. And for the first time in 14 years, the USC Trojans have won in Stanford. USC is going to go to San Francisco for the Pac-10 championship game.
In this game, 24 Trojans. That brings this broadcast to a close. 3A Sports from Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Brad Nessler. We'll see you soon for another edition of NCAA Football 14.
24-14, the upset's complete. And that will do this game in for the night. Take a cursory glance at stats. Walker was 17 for 22, 161 yards with a TD. Roosevelt McKenzie only had 32 yards on the ground for Stanford. Looking at receiving yards, the one touchdown the Cardinal had came late. Tyler Arnold caught one. We'll check in now with their defensive stats, which are a lot more promising. We had 2 sacks. J.P. Schultz and John Dixon got the sacks. The pick went to Adam Anderson. Now we'll look at USC. Ryan Benson was 15 for 19, 228 yards, and a touchdown with the pick as well. Rushing, Zach Johnson had 12 attempts for 39 yards. The rushing game not here for either team. On receiving, Brandon Williams with 100 receiving yards. The only touchdown receiving for the Cardinal, though, went to Marcus Thomas, as we look back at rushing. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 for quarterback Ryan Benson and 1 for Patrick Mitchell. On defense, a lot of crucial sacks in this game. Keith Wright, Trevor Mixon, Brandon Mueller, Kyle Schwen all got sacks. The one pick went to Kyle Harris. It's the scoreboard. We've already seen that. Looking back at team stats, 24-14 the final score. Stanford led in first downs. USC led in total offense as well as rushing. They also led in passing. Third down, both teams were only hovering around 500. Stanford converted a 4th down, but they couldn't convert a second one. They got a 2-point conversion, and Stanford did not have as much luck in the red zone. Both teams had picks. On kick return yards. Total yards, USC had the lead. Time possession, once again, we see sort of a trend. The losing team having a lot of time of possession, having the lead in time of possession, but not being able to get it done. And we'll exit the game here. We'll take a look at the overview of the score, or of the score and the stats. Tyler Arnold, of course, 3 for 31 with a touchdown. Adam Anderson had a tackle, an assist, and a pick. Ryan Benson had a lot going himself. Kyle Harris had 6 tackles and a pick. And that will wrap up us here. Thank you all for watching. Tried a little something different today. Hope you all enjoyed it. I will be in call on the Discord shortly after we go offline. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another episode of 2KU Weekly, where we'll go over a bunch of the big upsets this week, as well as previewing the bowls giving our bowl predictions and our conference championship game predictions as well. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.